Hi, and welcome back to our Market Mamas channel. We're really glad you guys are here today. So, we want to talk to you about something that we work through all the time, every week as traders. One phrase that Kendra and I use all the time is we need to have peace with our peace. This phrase I really like because it embodies an important concept in successful trading that is choosing to be content with not taking an entire move or every move, especially when you are still newer and fine-tuning your craft. So there's a lot to unpack with this concept. So let's talk about it.
Yes, there is. So every day, the instruments we trade, such as the futures markets, for Becky and I, they move in a similar average daily range. So in terms of points, and it ranges anywhere from say 200 to 400 points for the NQ, as an example. And if you trade a move with multiple contracts and potentially multiple accounts, then the money you can win from that trade can compound really quickly. Once you have a real trading edge in the market, it's quite possible to be able to take a piece of a good trade within your setup and have a nice amount of daily points. So sometimes that can happen literally within minutes. And the trick can then be, if you do make your daily profit target goal in one trade, and you've done your job. So now how easily can you stop trading and be content with your win? Or are you going to want to trade more, have this feeling of, you didn't get enough, or you didn't participate long enough, you didn't take enough, and the urge to jump right back in might be stronger than that contentedness feeling. So this happens easily. It's happened to us on many occasions, and so that's why we wanted to have this discussion with you all today. I know I've certainly experienced it, almost as if I didn't get enough of something. And I told myself that it's about points, but I think that when you really examine it, it's much deeper than the points. It's the emotional input of participating that we can just become too attached to. And sometimes it's just a challenge to be able to turn off that trading switch and pivot to other things in our life.
Yes, I've had definitely this similar experience with that. So in this scenario, it can actually be pretty difficult to navigate when you are a younger trader. It's a bit of a double-edged sword also. Sometimes you are totally right to get out of a move after a reasonable amount of points and getting out the low-hanging fruit target because it is going to retrace and you could potentially have given back all of your profits and then even get stopped out in the red. And so if you didn't close out that trade at your intentional target, it can go to pick a winner from a loser. But on the other end of that, when you close out at the first or second reasonable target, and then the market moves for another 20 points in your direction, that can also be a hard pill to swallow. So that's where some pretty serious FOMO can come into play. Whether it's just you knowing that you missed out on a much larger part of the move that you were in, or if you know that other people that you trade with or talk to during your trading day may have taken the trade and held it to much farther targets and were more handsomely rewarded. There are many ways that can feed the emotion of FOMO, and they all can sting when you were in the move, and in hindsight, you got out too soon.
Yeah, this is a real experience, and there's just so many different things at play. Logically, we know that every trade, can't always be ours, but it's very disheartening when you feel like you didn't take advantage of real opportunity. Mm-hmm. I can speak from my own experience of feeling like I was fortunate to have a clean trade right out of the gate. So now I don't want to risk giving back those profits. However, if it is a day that I'm reading her well, and my edge is present, then that rationale is just counterproductive. On the contrary, if I struggled with some impatience or FOMO with my initial trade executions, and I had to try a couple attempts to nail my trade, then likewise, my ability to then continue to take advantage of her abundant opportunities is also affected. In this case, I might be kind of worn out and just relieved that I recovered some of my stop losses and I'm green for my day. So it can be harder to stay neutral and focused to continue to participate in this scenario. So I will likely want to walk away. These are the hard truths of my performance flaws that I'm still, maturing in and growing through. So then on a day when she does continue to move according to my beautiful trade plan I created and prepared for, it's a hard pill to swallow. but we can always learn from her still. But what's worse are the sessions where I am trading from a more biased and expectation, led vibe, energy, whatever. and there's not much peace at all. Rather, all of my, offensive game is just totally in play. And then those are unfortunately that side of my trading seems to come out on the days that there's just so much indecision in the market. And my beautiful trade plan is not actively playing out, but I just really want it to.
Yeah, I'm there. That's a hard truth. Okay, so just the other day, I really struggled with this. I am a big fan of the bears in the market. I really like the short plays. They happen faster and cleaner, and your targets get hit in minutes. So that's my favorite. Naturally, then, I struggle more on bullish days. I know this about myself, and I am purposefully working on improving this, but I still have more work to do. So I'm going to tell you about a situation that sort of prompted this episode. On this particular day, the market was clearly marching up. It made sense on all time frames, and my trade plan in the morning was to trade with that, to go along, take a long position on the pullback. Simple, right? We're a bullish trend up. So I was like pinging back and forth between the office and the kitchen, and I kept missing the optimal entries as the early move was starting to climb. And before I knew it, we were already up to the first solid target where I expected that the market might react at. So we hit that first target, and this is the time when I was in my office, and I was literally telling myself, don't short, don't short, don't short. Your plan is to long. Even though it's going to reject here, don't short. And then as the market was holding and started rejecting, just as I anticipated it might, but I wasn't going to take it, all of a sudden I just click. I was in the short with all of my accounts with reasonable leverage on because I was like, it's happening, but it's falling. And I didn't trade with my plan. I recognized that the better trade for that condition was a long in sync with the market and the greater direction. But my impulse control struggle that happens sometimes had me taking this pullback against my plan. Also, I'm trying to only trade once a day, sometimes twice, as my mornings are still pretty busy with my kids and I need to respect that balance in my life and not take every swing of the market. So the trade that I got in was a short, and it was smart, and I was in profit, and my target was hit in 3 minutes. And so it did work. My bears showed up right on cue, right at the level that I had anticipated based on my system. And then my trading day was over in a 3-minute trade on a bullish day where my plan was to go long and I went on a short. It was like not at all what I had planned for. And then it just happened. So thankfully, in that moment, I reached out to my partner and I pivoted to other activities and I tried to be peaceful because I actually felt very uneasy, even though I was green. Why was I so upset? My trade was a direct hit. It was a fast and easy, but I was so irritated because I could have taken a much longer, stronger trade with more validations and confluences in alignment with my actual plan that then would have fostered better trading good habits, trading with the trend, trading your system. But I didn't do that this day, and I was really frustrated with my behavior. So in that moment, that's something that I had to work through. I had to choose to embrace this phrase that we have, to have peace with my peace. I didn't nail the trade that I intended, but my trade was successful and my daily income was secured. I did trade with good trading knowledge, but I did reinforce lessons that I'm working on. Like I tried to just internalize what I can learn from this whole experience. And it kind of took me all day and a lot of journaling, kind of starting this episode actually, to pivot to contentment with my choices. And then Kendra, of course, my girl, pointed out that I have had much worse days on bullish trending days in the past. And so that reframing also helped. Like if this is my new like C game on these days, like it was green. It was more logical. And so with the interim concept, it was in my favor. There is growth within me over time, even though it's not perfect. And so that matters. But you guys, it is really hard sometimes to be able to recognize and anticipate gorgeous moves from the market and not fully capitalize on them. Like this bullish move that day, I swear it was like 60 points. And I took a little chunk of the short. So it's like, these are next level problems, right? It's kind of a blessing that I am now able to see these great trades before they happen, whether or not I actually execute on them in a given day. This is growth as a trader still. And I'm really grateful to be in this phase of my trading career because, I mean, we've talked about this before, but I always aim to be grateful for what I have and to live in a more grateful and abundant place so that energy can kind of keep me on the right track. But I'm still human, and it can be hard to feel content with a small piece, like a 5-point move out of a 50-point day. And so this actually really takes some legit trader maturity to quiet the FOMO of the other missed opportunities and just live in some contentment.
Yes. I love how you just like spilled it all out there because you could tell from what you just like released, like, this is the real shit, you guys. Like, it was a heavy day. I remember that day. And I just want to like shout out to Miss Market because she's so abundant. Becky likes to short. She feels that more naturally. That's just her trading muscle. Mm-hmm. She developed that. So it speaks to her. That's how she reads. That's what we need to lean into. I, on the other hand, it's a long for me. Like, I'm bulls, she's bears, but Miss Market is so abundant. And it's just funny that we'll still find those trades. Like, despite, like, you still found that short and nailed it on a day that ends up being very bullish. I'll still find a long and long it on a day that ends up being
all the time.
Like, so it's just cool to show you, like, there's so many angles and ways to go around this. Of course, we want to try to capitalize on what our strengths are, on the best setup, on being very in tune and in sync, and with the major trend where we are, you know, on market context. But, you know, we are, like you said, it is like next level, you know, problems. The fact that we can still anticipate and capture some of these smaller moves, even within a bigger picture. And so, but the woulda, shoulda, coulda mindset, like, that is hard. That is a hard pill to swallow. That is hard to overcome on a day when you feel like, yeah, you left opportunity on the table. You had a bigger and maybe better, what you think would have been a bigger, better trade. But there's never any guarantees, you know, because who knows? You might have continued to like miss those opportunities on that long day and then got even frustrated. And then you might have changed your bias. And then that bear bias might have came into play. And then you might have been trying to short the top, which again, you've done in the past and you didn't do that day. So it was a win and it was a green day. I've definitely been there myself. So it is a blessing and a curse, you know, to be working through that place where you have strong intuition about where the market's going, but you don't always fully capture it. But green is green. And it just shows how much psychological conundrums that we're really always facing. Mm-hmm. And I've said it before, it hurts more not to nail trades when you're right and you are in sync with where she's going than when you're just wrong. And I hate that. I hate that because, you know, it really doesn't respect the fact that, you know, even though we don't execute perfectly, we still need to recognize that our trading intuition and our IQ is increasing. And that deliberate practice we're doing is a big win. I know it's just an ego thing, right? We're always battling that even when we don't realize it. So that awareness and acceptance of trying to not control all the variables in this business is really hard. It's just a constant effort, you know, to manage what we actually can control, and having peace with our peace, whether it is a small win or it's a small loss, it can just really make that huge difference in our progress over time.
Yes, exactly. That's well said. I swear, it's like another rite of passage that every trader must go through. Most days, I feel predominant peace and gratitude after my morning trading session with focusing on the long game. Even if I just get one medium-sized trade, I can frame that and choose to see it as a good, strong win that I anticipated correctly what the market might do on a given day. And that can be similar, honestly, to a non-scale victory for someone in a weight loss journey. This can be a non-P&L victory for traders. So just understanding the market and how she moves, that's a win, even if you don't execute it. Reframing this experience is really beneficial because it focuses on the abundance yet to come within my trading career. So like today, I saw that the market might do this and then it did it. And maybe I only got this reasonable piece here, but you know what? 2025, like a year from now, then I could take at least 2 or 3 times the move, because all of this experience every day we're focusing and studying the charts and learning her better. We're going to capitalize more as time goes on. So it's okay that I only took a reasonable amount of points for this day and shut it down. And then I showed up for the other parts of my life for the rest of my day. Right now, my life is crazy full with young children. And so this is what works for me and my balance. And there's so much more to come. So this is how I can choose to trust that I have years and years to get better and take larger and longer trades. Doesn't always have to be today, though, because I intend to be a trader for the rest of my adult life. So for now, this is the healthiest way for me to be at peace with a reasonable daily point goal.
Yes, I love that correlation with the weight loss and the P&L. You don't need to step on a scale to see and feel your body changing and getting stronger. And the same with our accounts as we are reaching consistency and even beyond. I remember in one of our earlier episodes, we talked about Linda Bradford Rashke and how she doesn't monitor her daily P&L, rather her equity curve on a month-to-month basis, which is a great way to maintain that neutral and peaceful mindset so you don't experience those extreme high-low swings as much. I still have to master this, but taking a small loss early in your day is a part of a winning trading process. It's part of risk management. And that's our very first job and top priority once we log in and we start participating. How many times am I going to have to hear that and know that and accept that? It never feels good. Like, no one wants to take a small loss. But it's so counterproductive. That is the business we're in is, we win some, we lose some. Anyways, the work to qualify us has already been done. And so, when I try to get creative, and reinvent the wheel, I know that that's not a good trading state to be in. I'm not operating at my peak, performance. I'm not, in the zone. So I wish it was more clear in real time, when I do try to, bend those things and convince her to move when I want her to, because usually that's when I'm entering fix it mode, and a small loss then can turn into this vicious, trap. And it's so easy to fall into. I know we all have, I'm sure many of you all have as well. And so it can turn a day that can easily be recovered the next, within the next week, tomorrow, with the fresh new opportunities that the market gives us. Instead, it can turn it into a destructive day for all the accounts and the mental bank as well. And it's just really, really easy to do. And a small red day is not a big deal in the big picture. There will always be more trades. You will see more clearly and be able to capitalize on. So
we have to internalize that, because why is that struggle so hard? Like, taking a small loss can be the end of a successful trading day. Your edge wasn't there. You didn't nail it. You didn't see it. You ran out of time. Like, that's a part of the process. That's the variance within this business that we're in. We have to accept it. Okay. So there are plenty of full-time traders that will execute several trades over the course of a trading day. But I think that is another level that you should earn the ability to do with years of practice and experience to actually really be able to capitalize on it appropriately and safely. My mentor, Jermaine, he asked these questions of us in his trading group. What is your number of trades that you can truly take within a trading session and know that you are remaining fully focused and intentional with? And many of our answers were between 1 to 3 trades, as was his answer. And the point here being is that trading can fatigue your brain. There's a very real risk that you can enter a trading trance and start focusing too narrow and get fixated on just your smaller time frames or only a part of your data, and miss important factors that you ideally would use to thoroughly trade plan and set up your process when you're fully focused and have all your mental faculties. So I have certainly seen that in myself. My mind will start to wander about other responsibilities I should be attending to, or if I keep trading to make a significant amount of points because I'm feeling aggressive or just have some extra time on my hands, then do I start chasing the money with less caution? Like, sometimes the energy and momentum behind it really changes and I don't even know that it happened. Because this is often the case if I'm taking more trades than just an initial early strong one or two. I'm pretty sure this resonates with some of you guys. And a nice, reasonable, smooth green P&L morning, it's nice. It's really a good balance, especially with an early trader. But it can become a red day pretty insidiously if you aren't content. If you trade more, but with a lower mental capital, there's a very real risk there of giving back everything that you earned that morning. And for me, in my logical brain, I'm not ready to take that risk. Every day, I want to build my experience and my account sustainably. This factor, again, for me, reinforces the need to purposefully remain peaceful with my piece of the profits. Another way Jermaine recently put it to his students on the same topic is you don't want to burn out your star player. I love that. I literally wrote it down when he said it because it's a great visual to understand this point more clearly. We need to swing at our best pitches with our strongest player before she is fatigued and less focused, and then allow her to have proper rest and a reset period before the next day of the games. That is a strong and sustainable and healthy approach if I've ever heard one. I even wrote an audio track on this subject last summer, and it's called Closing Time, that Kendra and I both listen to it all the time when we need to decide to shut down our trading day for the day for one reason or another. That's a part of our plan. So this helps remind us of our intentions as day traders and encourages healthy behaviors that we're trying to stay focused with. And I mean, from that experience and how it's benefited me, I would encourage you guys also to put up reminders and incorporate habits in your day that help you to shut it down if you've either reached your goal or your daily loss limit, or you're just out of time for the amount of energy and focus that you truly need to trade well with. I am definitely speaking from experience on this one, but if I need to stop trading, then that's a sign that I need to stop trading. It's a trader maturity that I'm still working on, but it does help me to call it out and have discussions like these to normalize this process. And Kendra and I have really over the years supported each other in this because it's helped us significantly.
Oh my goodness. The Closing Time audio track is epic. I mean, it's because these feelings linger, Yeah. So, I mean, even though we have to physically pivot, okay, I'm done. I'm locked out, loading the kids up. I mean, I'll put that on in the car because I'm physically gone, but my mind is still thinking about the trades and, wishing I could still be participating. And so that closing, I think we should add that. Let's put that on the end of this episode, Becky.
It's a copyright issue because it's set to the song Closing Time by Semisonic, and I want to release it so bad, but I don't think we can afford the copyright.
No, definitely can't afford no copyright.
Sponsor us, somebody, because it's really good.
Okay, we'll mistake this, but we got to get that out to our people because it's very good and it's helpful, super helpful. So, okay, for sure. Another significant component that's really big for this discussion, I had to add it in here, is recognizing that no position is a position. So in trading, we experience this feedback loop, right? You enter a trade and it goes in your favor or it doesn't. And then there's a results-driven feedback that we've just become accustomed to. Most of the time, this is serving us. If we execute great, then we get the feedback from winning, and that's appreciated. And it's affirming of our choices and our abilities. If we did not nail a trade, then the feedback is useful to learn from, the what, the where, the why, and how we could have improved in that particular performance area. So for me in the early years, there was sort of this overload of feedback input. The truth is that at that stage, there was not really an edge developed, and there just was an intense motivation to click, watch, and repeat. So one of the challenges that I faced since maturing a lot more in trading is that there can sometimes be a lackluster, bland, and almost boring session. And, these days, they feel like they're not really providing any feedback, good or bad, in terms of results. And then it just kind of makes me feel indifferent at times. So what I found here is that there is very much indeed still feedback there, and it is valuable as ever, but it's a different type. And it's one that I have to intentionally take action to realize and actualize in order to receive. So as I've studied my own executing, good and bad, strengths, performance flaws, learn my triggers and ways that I easily get trapped. I've slowly started to develop a keener sense of when I do need to not trade. And like Becky said, the rest for athletes, or is this Jermaine? Oh my goodness, that is so true. I mean, I've recently started to respect that in my own, fitness journey of taking a rest day from my runs or having a rest day, with my resistance and weight training to let the muscles actually grow. But it's hard because we become addicted to these things. They're our routine. They're serving us. So being able to withhold sometimes, that's a big challenge, but it is necessary. And Becky and I are growing our trading muscles, and they're going to continue to develop. And this is just another part of us strengthening and getting stronger, as well as sitting here and talking to you all. So we're just super happy that you all are here with us and joined us today. We want to share one more really encouraging and wise quote from the amazing Brene Brown. She once said, "If I missed the boat, it wasn't my boat." That's great. We will catch the next one, right? So thank you all. Our world is glorious and abundant, and there's room and space for all of us to play. Thanks for tuning in today, and please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel if you're not already. You can also connect with us more on any of our socials listed in the description and our beautiful website. We've worked really hard on it, and we want you guys to go visit. So our best trading days are ahead, and you all take care. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.